Brought to you in association with Grendel Press. This is Werewolf the Podcast, a serial killer drama.
Merry fucking Christmas,
Merry Christmas
from Will and Sally. We've had a year, and it's been a year, and anyway, we just like to thank people, whatever, you're all whatever, so good, thanks.
That is Will's attempt at giving a big thumbs up to all you listeners. Thanks so much for just listening every week. We have regular people that follow this podcast and use it to fill their spare time. So,
Boo.
Well done to you for picking so well. We look forward to bringing you more of
Joy!
this wolfy,
whatever.
wolfy little weekly soap opera. So,
and a big thank you to the team. So thank you to Gregory Sharp, D Sharp, and Adrian Lopez.
What's that, D Sharp?
I don't know. I have no idea. I haven't got. whatever it's
Sorry,
called.
we were also thanking.
And Adrian Lopez and everyone who has helped out this year. It's been absolutely fantastic.
It's been good fun for you, Will, doing all the shout outs to people
and me and Yvonne here, so Fen and Yvonne here, who actually act the parts and stuff. We've had a really good time, so thank you very much. We do actually wish you a very Merry Christmas. We don't really play the parts of, well, I'm a bit of a grinchy cunt, aren't I? So.
You can be a bit grumpy sometimes, but it's not.
We'd just like to say that we love you.
That's not what I thought you were going to say.
Well, try again.
I thought we were going to...
No,
okay, wait.
One, 2, 3. We love you.
You. Very...
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks, guys. Merry Christmas.
Hello? Hello? Is there someone there? It's dark. I can't see you. Who's there?
Hello?
Oh, hello. Is that you, Lucy?
Oui, it is Lucifer.
Lucifer. How wonderful to see you. It's me, Simon. Simon de Montfort. I haven't seen you for what? Must be centuries.
It's so good to see you. It's been such a long time since you were supposed to die.
Yes, that's true. Only, you're not really the devil, are you?
I don't think so, no.
You're Dee, aren't you? My wife.
I am. Aren't you lucky?
I am!
And you aren't really Simon de Montfort.
Spoiler alert, he's really dead.
You're my husband. And
I am.
Gregory Alexander Sharp.
That's me. I'm Gregory Alexander Sharp, author of Il Lupo and Killing Cure. You might have heard Will the Werewolf talking about those at the beginning of some of the episodes. They're werewolf books. We wanted to wish you season's greetings.
And a very, very happy new year.
And hopefully you've had a good 2023. And hopefully 2024 is going to be even better.
So all that remains to be said is we wish you peace and love as we come to the end of the year. And see you next year.
And on a personal note, I just wanted to say thanks to Fen for allowing us to be part of this amazing creative process that is Werewolf the Podcast. And thanks to every one of you for supporting Fen's amazing show, which we think is rather special.
Hello, my name is Adrian Lopez. I'm the author of Lycaon Bloodlines and the voice of Frank on Werewolf the Podcast. I just wanted to wish everyone a happy holidays and a very happy Weremas. I hope 2024 is an amazing year for all of us. Looking forward to all that is to come in Werewolf the Podcast and with our amazing werewolf genre going forward. No longer will we be stuck as a side character. No longer will we be seen only on a full moon. Going forward, we will show up how we want, when we want, and for who we want. Enjoy your holidays, everybody, and Happy New Year.
It's Christmas.
Well, the weather outside is frightful, but murder is so delightful. I never could let them go. Kill 'em all, kill 'em all, kill 'em slow.
Santa Claus has got to go. Yeah, I know. Yeah, he's not real. But over the last year, I've found out a lot of fucking things that I thought were not real are. In fact, I found out that a lot of things that aren't real are really real. I've met and normally killed vampires and unicorns. I met and killed were-rats and nixies, all of whom, or which I thought was a bunch of supernatural bullshit. But you live and learn. Well, you don't live if we can help it, but you get the gist. I also re-met some bloke, according to Fenrir, my wolf soul, who'd met him before, and according to the professor, I re-met the professor, and that he's proper immortal. And as such, because he's proper immortal, we couldn't kill him. But, Fen and me, when we get together as the big bad wolf, we really fucking tried. What's the point of this prattle? Oh, the point of the prattle is for me to try and show you that the things we are told are unreal and can often be found if you accidentally start killing them or attempting to kill them. Yeah, the things that aren't there are there if you actually look for them and find them. So I'm here to see if Saint Nick is real, and then of course, what else would I want to do? I don't want to fucking kill him.
It was Christmas Eve, babe, in some cunt's house. A sad man said to me, please don't kill another one. And then I killed them all. His little family, I tore and tortured them. It made me happy.
We sit alone in the family home waiting. Well, it is a profoundly prosaic question as to whether or not we are alone, as we are surrounded by 4 corpses. Or, well, I suppose they are sort of corpses, but are corpses people, or are they just corpses? It had been an exciting hour or so when we turned up to find the perfect little sickening family preparing for Christmas Eve and the visit of the man himself, Saint Nick. I'm driving home to someone's home for Christmas. Oh, I can't wait to see those tearful, fearful faces crying. I did my usual of finding those with what I consider as a close to perfect and untroubled life. Yeah, you know how much I hate them. Those that were never threatened or in fear. The ideal average family. This place had fucking solar panels and, well, the cheapest version of the Tesla sat outside charging. The Model 3 that looks like it's been put together with a spoon and a hammer and snot and, I don't know, fucking using chewing gum as glue. It amazes me, the people who invented this Model 3 thing probably have IQs over 150, while those building it in the actual factory could not find their IQs if given a shovel and an 80-point fucking head start. Oh yeah, and said Tesla was also in the standard recession white, which meant either that the guy did not care that it was the base level model and valued other things better, or perhaps, and probably, he couldn't afford the extra £800 to get it the silver or the blue that these cunts always choose as their colour scheme. God, I hate them. The family house was, well, average middle class. It was a lovely 3-bedroom detached villa on the outskirts of Manchester. You know, a newish one built on a middle-class estate where the houses are so close together that it's hard to squeeze down the side of your property to get to the flat formless garden at the back. It had a trampoline. I'll leave that there. It had a trampoline. I fucking hate trampolines. And then, of course, there were the two perfect kids, Noah and fucking Quaid. And what looked like an ideal family setup. Noah and Quaid were, I can't really tell how many years old. They were small, and the Quaid thing was smaller than the Noah thing. Fucking Noah? Why call your kid fucking Noah? I get he was a fictional good guy saving all the beasts and the earth and all that, but whatever. Why does no one call their kid Lemmy after the greatest of legends to ever exist? Oh, Lemmy Kilmister from Motorhead. It makes me nauseous and angry that you don't get any Lemmys or Kurts these days. Did you ever get them? I don't know. The perfect Sprogs have two unimaginative parents who were actually and sadly happy together after a few years of marriage. Yeesh. Oh, and of course the obligatory black Labrador called hilariously Dougal. Fuck. Makes me sick to see these perfect little happy family units. They're so unthreatened and just bimbling their way through life. Their only worry is whether the Christmas tree should be real or not. What's best for the environment? Mum had spent 5 hours on fucking Google doing the relevant research for that question. Maybe I'm jealous of these happy people, or maybe I'm sick mentally, or maybe it's both. Fen and I both agree that the socially perfect needs to be broken. We cannot have people think that they can use the system to create a happy standard family unit. What would people do if they had no reason to change things and trying to fuck up everything that is already good? What if people realised that the system could work? We just need to be able to add other things to it and make them work incongruously with them. There would be no left or right politics, just, can you imagine people working together to improve things? What a mad world.
Santa baby, just slip a pipe bomb under the tree for me. I've been a really good wolf, you see. Blow these fuckers up for me.
Mum was, well, ethnically diverse, obviously, and from a good family that had helped and supported her through the trials and tribulations of being a second-generation immigrant in the UK. She'd kissed a girl once. She was a teacher at a local school in support for learning and had got the head of department job that year. Well done. Now, I can accept all that being said, but the fact that she was good at her job and enjoyed it, well, that makes me angry. She was the type of person who would stay at this level of management so that she could really help the young people. And do you know what? She would say young people and not kids. Not because she had to think about not being patronising to her clientele, but because she was not patronising. I believe she respected the little bastards.
On the first day of Christmas, my sick wolf gave to me
his wife's head torn from her body.
Why on earth would I want your wife's head?
I don't know, but you can have it if you want.
Ooh.
Daddy Dearest was... He was a well-adjusted male who respected everyone but did not fall for fools or scams. He drove the Tesla, and the maintenance of its battery and how he programmed his timings for charging and the solar energy development were his favourite things to chat about when in company. He was the kind of person who'd got the fucking grant for the heat pump. His chat in the past would have been mortgages and the safety standards of the latest Volvo, but we're in a more modern age and everyone ignores what happens when a lithium-ion battery sets on fire. Well, you don't know what happens when a lithium-ion battery sets on fire. It's fucking brilliant, really. It's simple. It's almost impossible to put out, and it burns everything it touches to fuck. It's great. They are the reason why your insurance premium has doubled this year. They used to blame it on, people putting in fake whiplash claims. Now the price hike is due because if a lithium-ion battery bursts into flame on the top floor of a multi-storey parking place, then the whole building is toast. It will melt through the concrete floors below it and wreck both building and other vehicles it touches. You might wonder what the fire brigade does when they turn up. Well, they kind of look at it and they go, yeah, that's a fire, and they ensure it burns safely as possible without too much damage and get the marshmallows out to toast them. That's about all that can happen. It never happens, though, say the wise amongst you. Is that why the insurance has gone up then? They are ensuring that it never happens? Bollocks. Just the industry is good at getting those stories put on page 12 of the paper, so you focus on the other shit first. Anyway, what was I going on? Oh, yeah. So the Tesla was not quite the safe thing that a Volvo tank had been for the kids in a crash. Still, he had saved the environment independently by having bought that individual electric car that pushed us back to the good side of the climatic disaster scenario. Pew. He was saving his kids, really, and saving his kids' kids, and his kids' 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 kids, and his kids' 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 kids. Sorry. He worked as a GP in the local surgery, and he enjoyed his job too. Helping people. He was even one of those twats who worked in some shitty African country for a couple of years, saving the eyesight of children in his gap years. Cunt. You can see why he had to go. So I knocked on the door at 8 p.m. in my Santa hat and walked in to the house, unperturbed, to do my dodgy work, followed by Fenrir, my invisible wolf soul. They had all got together thoughtfully in the cinema room. What fucking cinema? We used to call it the front room, but these twats had to grandiose it, eh?
You for modernity are fucked, it's true, I have your mama.
The first thing I did was push past Mum, who had gone a little mental, and dragged her by her screaming, braying head to the cinema room, which I had scoped out through the front window. It had been the perfect time as she protested her treatment. Dad had rounded the door jamb from the room, and I had punched him nicely in the throat, while nicely continuing to nicely amble forth. It wasn't a horrible blow, but it left him on his ass, trying to suck air into his lungs through what was now quite a swollen larynx. It takes a lot of practice to be gentle yet firm enough to do this type of thing correctly, and I have to say through experience that it is often best if you overdo it than underdo it. I mean, the worst that can happen if you hit them too hard is that they die through asphyxiation. If you underdo it, they keep making fucking noise. And it was the noise I wanted to stop and the discombobulation I wanted to incur on him that was the important thing. She was now on her knees in front of her husband. Something I imagine that had not happened for quite a while, looking at his generally stressed state. And I was supporting her gently by her throat. I whispered in her ear, "Be quiet." To which she squealed, so I kicked her husband had in the vital area between his legs. He could not cry out properly, but the gurgle he gave meant that she got the idea that she should shut the fuck up. I, thoughtfully congratulated her in a whisper for her realisation, then lifted her to her feet to take her into the fucking cinema room. He was in his own little world of pain at this moment in time and would take a while to rejoin us in the real world once more after my boot had taken that short trip to Testicle Land. No, now I know what you're thinking. I do. I didn't forget him at this point and leave him where he was. I've made all those mistakes before, as you know. This is typically the turning point of these stories and stuff. Some fucker escapes, they run off like cowards they are, and then suddenly have to deal with the armed wing of, the fucking Manchester police. I love the fact that these armed police call themselves the Tactical Aid Unit, not the Police with Guns Unit. Oh, how are you going to tactically aid them, Sergeant Thompson? I was going to shoot the bad person in the head with a gun. So my plan would still run true and not be ruined by the turning up of the Tactical Aid Unit. I lifted him by his boot and brought him into the room, putting him down in front of the L-shaped couch where the kids sat dumbstruck. I placed Mummy on the sofa next to the children and helped Daddy to the other side of the sofa where he sat one-handed on throat and one hand on groin while he stared wide-eyed, no wonder, at me, and then his wife, and then me, and then his wife, and then me, and then his wife, and then me, and then... You get it. He then did that stupid thing of allowing his hand to slip towards his pocket, as though I didn't notice. A phone, perhaps, so I picked up the least snotty child by his shirt and dangled the now sobbing thing in front of him, shaking my head. I was hoping that he would get the hint that going to his phone would not go well for, is this one a Quaid or a Noah? Whatever he was called, I don't know. What do you want? The woman asked. I gave the man a stern look and stepped towards him, quickly chambering a kick. He flinched and put both hands up like I had a fucking gun or something. I nodded and put the crying kid on its mother's lap in a pile with the expectation that she might, quieten it or something. Once sure it was all going to plan, with Fenn's approval, I smoothed down my dark blue chinos and sat on the kitchen chair next to the fecking elf shelf. What happened? What the fucking hell? Where there were already mince pies, carrots, and a glass of milk. Fucking milk? Can't imagine Santa wanting fecking milk. What are the carrots for? I asked the family as I inspected one, confused. It's for the reindeers, said a child. Ah, okay, that makes sense, I replied. I looked around the home with a practised eye and tried to get comfy as I chewed on a carrot. Around the crunching, I asked the smallest human a question. Do you believe in Father Christmas? I asked the little curly-haired thing. He looked at his mother, who nodded to give him permission to answer this stranger. Yes, he told me. What if one with Daddy? He asked his mum. Fantastic, I said in response to his first response, the one whether or not he believed in Father Christmas. So as not to appear uncaring or rude, I answered the question that he asked his mum. Oh, Daddy, I punched Daddy in the throat and then kicked him in the cobblers. The cobblers? I told him as I leaned forward to rest my elbows on my knees. I mean, he'd been honest with me, so why not be honest with him? And I managed to get down to his eye level. I looked at his mum because the kid looked confused. Maybe it was the word cobblers. Would that be understandable for the Todd? For the tot? She looked dumbstruck and was rather unhelpful with my predicament of gauging the child's understanding. Only there to try and fucking help. I kicked him in his testicles, his bollocks, his balls. I don't know. I tried to further explain. I wanted to see some level of understanding, but the boy just sat looking at me with open mouth and blank sheep eyes. The other boy was a larger copy of the little one, same haircut and fucking teeth, and sat on the edge of his seat staring at me as though he knew me and had read the situation well. "Has Daddy not been good then?" he pointedly asked me. What? Has Daddy not been good then? What? Oh, he thought this was happening because his dad had been a bad lad. Was I the elf of retribution or something? He thought I'd come here tonight to kick his dad's cunt in because he'd been a bad dad. Yeah, why break the lies the parents told them? Yes, I said in response to his question. Your father has been a very bad man, and I am the wolf of worthiness that comes along to good kids' homes with bad parents to try and straighten them out through violence and threats like all the great heroes of every fairy tale or mythical folklore story. I blatantly lied. The boy looked at his father and then me with a knowing eye and nodded in approval as he crossed his arms to see what would happen next. His father was transfixed on his son's face with a distinct look of confusion. This was great. I might leave the kid alive. I might. Probably not. Okay, it's time to say goodbye because Santa, yes, Santa, does not come if people are awake in the house, I told him. Mum and Dad, well, strangely, they looked relieved that the psycho had abated and was going to let them go. He wasn't. I stood up and took off my jacket, carefully folding it and taking it and placing it in a large plastic Ziploc bag I now keep in my pocket for these special occasions of transformation. I mean, this jacket was a Tom Ford 2020 winter jacket, and they're not made anymore, so I wouldn't wreck it, would I? I continued to strip down and carefully fold my clothes into the bag as I whistled Silent Night. Silent Night. It was going to be a noisy night for a few seconds, and then it'd be a silent night, wouldn't it? I could see Mum grow more and more tense and distressed as I stripped. I sensed a high level of discomfort and tried to reassure her. Oh, don't worry, I'm not going to do anything weird here. Well, I mean, I'm going to do something weird, I suppose. Stripping in front of you is really weird, isn't it? Huh? But I'm not going to do any raping or abusing or nothing, so don't worry. I'm not an exhibitionist either. It's just I've extremely expensive tasting clothes and most of the stuff I wore tonight is irreplaceable. Do you know what? I have to think these things through better when I come out and do the killing and stuff. I left my hold all, I was explaining, of the replacement clothes in the car. It's like, do you know what it's like? It's when you take your reusable bags to the supermarket. You know how often you forget them when you go in and then you're at the checkout, so you just buy some more bags. It's like that, I told her. I should have a set of clothes for work, maybe. Maybe I should do that. I realised at this point I was really talking to myself and smiled at her and her family as Fenrir, my wolf soul, entered my body and we became the big fuck-off werewolf. These are the most enjoyable moments of any creature's life. To turn from the form of a human man into this upright, monstrous form of, well, a big black killer. I grew in height by 2 feet and widened by 2 feet across the shoulders as I transformed, not in any of that agony or horror, but in beautiful syncopation of forms. I became a gigantic black werewolf and stood before them. All this happened in silence. Once changed, I stood breathing slowly before slowly opening my eyes, my amber-fired eyes, slowly to the mortal slowly before me. This slow moment I knew from experience was the point at which the prey part of the human mind freaks the fuck out. 4 pairs of eyes were staring. 4 mouths were open wide. None of them made a noise as I walked forward and simply just swiped my clawed paws together through the space where they sat. I sliced through flesh, clothing, bone, and and the couch. No screams were uttered as I ripped the family apart in the feral joy of doing so. I did not linger in my kill. I did not torture or tease death. I just tore and wrenched at body and limbs, destroying all that was so-called good. Taking my anger and rage out on perfection. The room was now prettier. The room was now at a new level of decoration, with blood and flesh sprayed and dangling from many of its surfaces and furniture. Fenrir gave me a laugh of approval of it, of our wonderful work. Quick and to the point. It only took, 30 seconds for it to be done. I know, I'm sorry. Sometimes, it's quicker than other times. It can't always be, hours of doing it. Sometimes it just happens and it's done. Anyway, I'm not making excuses. These things just happen. I'm sorry. The mess before me was unrecognisable as a family of four. The L-shaped couch was now unrecognisable as an L-shaped couch. It was a bloody stained heap mixed with the fresh flesh of the murders. Smelled great though. Don't know what it is. Maybe it's the pine wood. How quickly lives can end. How quickly lives turn from perfect, secure, safe setups to them being, finished and done. A click. Something like that. A click of the fingers is long enough to change everything for the worse or the better, depending on your point of view. I got my breathing under control. Douglas, the hilariously named hound, poked his nose from under the table and sniffed the air. Not fucking stupid. Quickly turning his tail and setting down as though nothing had happened. He was a Labrador, and Labradors tend to be bright, and he was a particularly bright Labrador. He was having fuck all to do with it. Isn't it strange though, like at times like this, what goes through your head? Labradors make good guide dogs for the blind, but who picks the shit up for guide dogs? I don't get that. Because they're blind. Does the dog pick it up? I don't know. Maybe they have a special operation where they don't have a shit. Anyway, I went into the kitchen and gave myself a brief but vital clean-up. I was disgusting. It was time to wait for Santa. For Santa. And to see if he could deal with my claws. Get it, Santa Claus. To deal with my insane claws. Do you know what? Next episode, I'm gonna kill this fucker. Merry Christmas.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Bad tidings we bring to you and your kin. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a fearful New Year. How?
What the fuck did you do that for?
What? It felt appropriate.
Okay. Anyway, alright.
Brought to you in association with Grendel Press. This is Werewolf the Podcast, a serial killer drama.